I love your boards, have for a long time, and I really love your new stuff. That Lift 5 Pro is everything I wanted in a board. Everything.
Awesome.
And if the battery was 7 pounds lighter, I would love it even more.
Me too. We're always working to make things lighter. But I mean, on the flip side of that, there's a lot of cool things about the battery that people don't know that we haven't really advertised. But that battery it's heavier than I wanted it to be. That's the truth. When the final weight kind of came in, it wasn't what I was aiming for, and I actually cried myself to sleep one night there about it, because it means so, like, we design hard to get like half a pound out of the right spot, and so like when you fill it in somewhere else, it's always like, oh. But the good thing, the interesting part about that battery is it's potted in resin on the inside, so there's no water that can actually hit it, and it's built like a brick shit house that you can run it over with the truck. I don't recommend that anybody run it over with the truck, but we have as part of our testing, and that's how structurally sound and just electrically safe that battery is. And that was a very important part about that design of the battery, is like the standards had to be extremely rugged and extremely safe, and perform really, really well. And so that's where we start. And then from there we continue to improve. So you'll see with iterations and stuff, naturally we will improve that and we'll get weight down, but we're not going to get rid of that fundamental aspect of reliability, ruggedness, and safety. That's just, it's paramount for us with this new launch of this new product.
So let's talk about battery reliability. Like I don't think it's a secret to you or to anyone. I get called on this a lot too. Like, hey, I've said a lot of times, man, I love these boards. I've been really critical of them too at the same time. But like people call it like, hey, their batteries, they aren't reliable. And I'm like, well, I've got two batteries that have run flawlessly now, one of them for like near 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they can make reliable ones. I haven't had a lot of great luck with those fours. Like I'm going on my third four, and I've really not gotten more than 1 month of actual ride time out of one. They just have a tendency to not wake up after the winter. Or I had one that woke up after the winter, but then like a month later, I'm sitting on the dock with my brother-in-law and my friend, and we're all going to go at the same time, and my battery turned purple. And so, like, I'm like, why is this happening? And I know you're aware of it. What have you done differently now what happened to the four? And then what'd you do differently with the five?
Yeah. So we've actually had different battery designs throughout our history, and even like some batteries that look the same are not the same, so we have had different designs out of the market, and then different stages of manufacturing with that battery. We're always making improvements and stuff like that. So if you look at, since 2018, all the batteries, it's hard to kind of categorize them all into one category. What you're really looking at is a particular batch from a particular manufacturer or something like that. And so we've had our ups and downs with battery things for sure. It's a very complicated device. Let's just start there. A lithium battery of that size to power that device and output that amount of power in the environment that it is, you're taking it in and out of the device, and you're transporting it to different spots, and you're setting it down to charge it. So like, the life of that battery is quite complex, and it's more complex than people want to accept, because everybody's just used to all their stuff just having batteries and working. But the battery lives inside this device. You don't take it out and put it to charge and then put it back in, and you don't throw it in the ocean, because if you do, I'm pretty sure we're all aware it's not going to work anymore, right? So in that sense, and each one has a different life too. So like, hey, did something happen? It's part of a greater electric circuit board too, right? Did something happen to the motor that actually like caused a high voltage spike and stuff that like impacted the battery management system? Is a case actually, did it get impacted in a way that it actually cracked the seal in a way and slightly has a small amount of humidity or moisture that's entering into the pack and affecting an electrical circuit? And so each battery takes a different life course once it leaves that factory, right? So there's that complicated aspect of managing an entire fleet. But I would say Absolutely, I think structurally those batteries could have been better for sure. And that's something that you see in our 5 is, very, very, a lot more structurally sound in that sense and rugged from a design perspective. Software wise too, we had a batch of batteries where the shelf life just wasn't what it was supposed to be. We had planned for at least 12 months plus of shelf life, and we were getting more like 3 or 4. And for us, that's not acceptable. And really depending on state of charge too, where did somebody end their ride to then put it in for storage? Right? Because it's all like it's a fuel tank just kind of coming down slowly, 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 slowly. But we did correct that as well with software updates that changed that programming. Some people updated with software, some people didn't. Right? If you didn't do the software update, you didn't fix the problem. We didn't get that out there. So you see, that was probably our primary. I think in the last 2 years, primary data point is, hey, battery is going to sleep and not waking up, and that's basically how much fuel was left in the tank. And our software update changed that amount of fuel that was left in the tank. Make sense?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, it's a complicated part. There's a lot of lessons learned off of those batteries. And I would say, like, right now, the battery that we put out today, and even the battery that we've been putting out for over a year on our Gen 4 was quite reliable. And you see it in the data. The reliability went up significantly by cases. The Gen 5 battery that we have today is a whole different beast, and we can talk about that independently. But even
people keep saying, hey, Lyft has battery problems. I'm like, wait, show me the evidence that they have battery problems still with the 5. I get, look, previous gens had issues and I've experienced them. But what I want to know is what's the future? Have you had nearly the same amount of customers reporting their 5s going bad on them?
No, I feel, well, one, I just want to clarify though, the 4s that we build and deliver today are quite robust. The Gen 4 battery that we deliver today, I'm not saying that they're perfect and that we won't have a single case, but they are quite robust. I feel good about them.
What's the date that I should say these are going to be good and these weren't maybe as good?
I feel for the last 12 months, we have definitely been on a place that are manufacturing and our software that the data there is good and it's solid. Everything is up to date from the factory, and we've just seen a drop off on any kind of cases. We still have our stuff, but that manufacturing forward, I feel really good about those batteries. And we're going to continue to service those batteries into the future, and that's what it's important for people to understand. The battery that we're actually servicing with is our best design of that generation, and we have the best data on that particular design. It's quite advanced, and I feel really good about that product because we're going to continue to service that product for multiple years.
I do say that to everyone. I'm like, okay, look, I've had some issues with some of the boards from Lyft. You've solved them every time, and honestly, pretty quickly. You've had some battery, like that. I have had to wait for batteries. Everything else like came very fast, and it was super easy to install. And as a person who used to own a very complex wake boat, I got to say, like, my world is so much easier now. Like, you send me a part, I take out some screws, I plug it in. I don't think I've ever read a single manual for how to do any of this. I just figure it out because it's super easy. And then it runs. Like I said, I've got a board that's 5. It's on its 5th summer, right? And it still rolls. And it is a neglected child, in my ride. Like, I don't touch it. I put some oil on its connectors and I throw it in the shed and I pull it out and it runs every single time that one of my bigger friends needs a board, like my first board to ride. It always runs. Nothing I've ever owned has been this easy to deal with. That moves, that has moving parts. Maybe a computer does, but like this thing is, I can't believe how well it works and how I can neglect it. And it goes in the water and it keeps running. Amazing. Just amazing. I mean, and I've spent no money maintaining it. None, not a dime.
No, when it works, it works, and it works really well. I mean, the beauty of a good electromechanical system that is just when it's well designed and it works really well, it just works, and it works every time, and it's very dependable. I would say, you know, I've got a lot of eFoils that way too from my own batches and over the years where it's like just things super reliable. And I've had my own issues with my own eFoils and, you know, manufacturing snafus and stuff where we need to fix it up. So we're certainly not perfect. We do our best to get the customers taken care of and get back on the water. That's always been the motto. Just get them back on the water. They're going to be happy. You know, I will admit, I'll be the first one to admit that we've really done a bad job this year, getting customers back on the water. And, you know, my hands have been tied in a couple of places. It hasn't been an easy season for us, and it has not been an easy environment to operate in. So we've definitely heard frustrations from customers. I hear it every single day. You know, all that stuff kind of filters back to me. We're working on it though. You know, everybody's like, they're dying, they're dead. No, not dying, not dead. I just,
I've had that fight too. Yeah, with people.
One problem at a time. One problem at a time. One
Yeah.
day at a time. One problem at a time, and then we'll get it. We'll get everybody back on the water, and we'll get them back on the water in style, and we'll get it taken care of. And we never stop working on our product to make it better.
I'll give you this. So I think you've had a lot of users like me, for instance.
Mhm.
When I have a problem, I want to work with your customer service as a someone who's willing to help you figure it out, like solve it. Like I want to do your Q&A for you for free. Like I just want, you know, it's the way I'm wired. So I remember I was talking to one of your customer service agents. They were like, we're going to just send you this thing. I'm like, wait, can we discuss this? You know, I want to know and help you figure this out for other people. So I'm sending them recordings of my motor, you know, being louder than it should be. And I was like, let's figure out the hertz. Let's figure out what it is so that, like, you know, we can solve it in the software maybe or whatever. Right. And so I've told the audience this too. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not a normal customer. Like I'm the kind of early adopter who's like, I want to make this company great, and sending me parts ain't going to make it them great, right?
Yeah.
It'll get me back on the water and everything, but like, no, I actually am more interested in this. And your customer service has in the past, like, not seemed interested in that. And even my dealer who was listening to the whole exchange, like, why aren't you just happy? And I'm like, dude, I want to get in there with them, and I want to make sure that they're doing like that. I'm having a problem that someone else is going to have. I want to help them figure it out. And like, I can tell your customer service agent is like, dude, I've been hired to like just solve this. I'm not going to advance you to talk to an engineer and show them your recording and everything. You know, I can tell that's kind of what's happening. But I think your Q&A would benefit from people willing to do free work. Like customers willing to do free things for you is super valuable. And it'll make us more. You take us up on that, and we will become super customers. Like we'll just be more into you because we feel like we're part of it. You know, we're helping it be better.
I hear what you're saying. I think the coolest thing about our business is our group of customers. I mean, I tell my wife every day, I'm like, man, we got some cool customers. You know, like I had conversations this morning with some of our customers, just amazing people from amazing backgrounds that have achieved a lot in their lives and, like, you know, really taken on complicated, and they really love our brand and they love the product, and they're so willing to jump out and help. And that, man, it's a really uplifting experience to see that from everybody. And yeah, I want to take people's help. We're going to do that for sure. It's been really a bandwidth issue as well. It's like, it's an avalanche, you know, of stuff. Like when things are kind of happening and you're in your business and you're trying to navigate certain challenges that weren't there in the past, you're like, what? I got to deal with this now.
Yeah, I know that.
It's hard. It can outpace you. I think, you know, from a customer service standpoint, look, legitimately, we're not a huge company. We're a grassroots company from here in Puerto Rico, and we've grown and we've shrunk and we've grown. But we've got a small team. We need to expand that team. I haven't allowed the team to expand proportionally to the amount of customers that we have out there. That's on me. And so that's one of the main focuses that I'm on right now. I'm a man on a mission to get the right structure in place, the right people in place, the right, you know, to like, we have to build a really good foundation to move forward. And I would say that, yeah, drop the ball this summer for sure. But I'm going to win it all back, and I'm going to make it. We're going to overcorrect to the other side and just make it excellent. It's such a huge focus for me this year.
You are absolutely right. A lot of your customers have done amazing things. I've found they are some very skilled people in your customer class. I know a lot of them too. And a lot of them, I've kind of turned them on to eFoiling, right? These are doctors I've worked with over the years. These are engineers I've worked with over the years. These are impressive people. Yeah. And I was, God, there's one guy in particular that just retired from working at 3M forever, right? And I'm like, dude, you should talk to Nick. Like he runs Foil Fest. I'm like, talk to Nick. Like, you've got time to do this now. I'm like, you could make their QA amazing. I'm like, and we could automate it. We always talk about how would we run this part of it, or how would we solve these problems that Lyft is probably having. I know it's weird that people do this, but then again, these kinds of people do this with everything in their life. They look at, like, how would I solve all these other problems and things like that. You should consider, until you have the bandwidth to do it, thinking of these people that could automate a lot of this. Dude, you guys with the right GPT chatbot, mine takes on hundreds of queries from people who write about lights blinking on their batteries to my GPT. That I have only been able to guess at what those things mean. If you were to build something like that, that would be able to handle 50% of a lot of your common issues and it would know when to escalate it to a human. Consider it. I don't mean to use automation ever to remove humans. I want to make humans be able to focus on stuff that humans are great at, being creative and creative problem solving and stuff like that. But man, there's a lot of things that are just knowledge. Yeah,
there's some really amazing tools out there. There's a lot of, we just need to get in, and I want to approach it from the now we're getting in the design perspective, right? Yeah. Of designing a company, but I definitely want to approach it from who are our customers, what is the type of customer service that they appreciate, what are the things that they need. Let's customize that experience for them, and how can we include them more and make them feel included in the business, because that's what they really appreciate. That's what they like being a part of. So, I'm studying it and I'm absorbing it, and I am having a lot of conversations. I have a lot of conversations with a lot of our customers, and I absorb as much as I can, and I take notes if you say them, and then we're going to put together a good plan and build it out. And that doesn't happen overnight, but we'll certainly, crank the screws down and make it happen.
Right. You know what? For all that, it's all about knowing the right people that really know how to do it and are just the kind of people that are going to be uber committed to doing it. I built my own world with its own GPT because I just really love eFoiling, right? I'm really interested in it. It's like the thing I do when I'm not working. I'm basically thinking about eFoiling or eFoiling or whatever, and I was always like that with whatever sport I was into. This one just happens to be the one that I can do with my knees the way they are, all that kind of thing. At my age, I'm having the best time with it. And so, I think it would be good for you to include your customers more, because you do that, you turn them into super customers. And God, you're right. These people are really amazing. A lot of them have probably the stuff, the knowledge you need and the skills you need. And gosh, I met a lot of people that are my age and older. These guys need something to do, I swear, right? As they reach that retirement age, they're not the people who stop thinking, So anyway, I would consider you figuring a way to source that better, because you guys don't really have much at your website for you to become a super customer or to come in and help with that quality assurance and that kind of thing. You just don't have it there. So we kind of do it in our own communities. Yep. Tap into it.
I agree 100%. And I'm on it. I'm going to make it happen.
All right. So big complaint about you I'm going to also share with you. Okay. No, actually, not really. I met so many people on sports, for sports, right? And they are so ready to go to a pro. They need a smaller, lighter, faster board. That 4 was a very popular line, and it was a great line. Man, that was such a great eFoiling that even I was like, they can't top this. How they, they're going to graphene batteries would top this, right? But everyone, so many. That is like the most popular board I see out in the world, is that like for sport. It's
Yep.
everywhere. And then I met a bunch of people ready to go to a lighter board. Now, I didn't have the 5 at the time that I went to this last big festival.
Hmm.
I've only been bringing that to smaller races and inviting people over to ride it. But they tried my pro and they're like, yeah, this is great. This is what I want. Now, and the reservation is, well, I've heard that a lot of people had to wait all summer to get their battery. Like people bought them and they're not riding. And like in Minnesota, dude, like I think I told you, if I didn't have 3 batteries, if one of mine went dead and I was waiting most of the summer, I wouldn't like you. I would not have warm feelings towards you. I told you that, but I do. I happen to have 3 batteries, so I usually tell customer service, hey, dude, if I get it before the beginning of next season, do that. Because give this to someone who needs it more than me. Give it to someone with, give my battery to someone who needs it and only has 1 battery. Jesus, we're all in this together to some degree. And so, but anyway, what should we tell people? Like if they order a board and they want to ride it in the summertime, May 1st, they want to be in the water May 1st. When do they got to order by? Right now.
May 1st next year?
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. So this summer was tough. We launched our new product, brand new product. It came out a little bit late. We had, I don't know if everybody remembers, but there was essentially a trade embargo with Asia. That was just a little challenge along the way, no big deal. Right when we needed all of our key components and our other partner suppliers needed their key components. So we got pretty backed up. That's true. And our battery supply chain was really weak this year. It was tough. But good quality batteries, really stoked on the batteries that are out there. A couple issues here and there, as new manufacturing line that we had to resolve. But overall, you would ask me that question. Batteries are really good. Let's start there. That's an important part. And we're actually almost caught up as of this next week. I'm going to celebrate because we're almost caught up on a backlog of boards and batteries. For now, before we go open and say, here, who else wants one? And then we're quickly, inundated again, which is not a bad problem. So to answer your question, if people order an eFoil today, they're going to get it in a couple of weeks. We've unfortunately.
With the battery? Okay.
Yes. And, our it comes and goes. It depends on, look, how much inventory do we have? We build these in batches. How much demand comes in? Sometimes our demand will outpace our inventory amount, and sometimes I'll get caught up. But the summer was kind of more of a launch, and it was like getting everything caught up. So it's just kind of a unique time of getting a new product out there. But once we're running, we're running. And especially as we come out of summer, that's not peak season, we'll have more availability. I also we've been working really hard to fortify our supply chain. I've got some really exciting stuff coming in the next year that I'm excited to share with the public in due time. But that's going to help us substantially for next year. We should be really robust. That being said, I will probably sell out a product next year, is my anticipation. My focus right now is excellence in our business, improving our customer service, improving that experience, improving, all the operational aspects of our business and making that more robust. And if we sell out a product, we sell out a product. So if you want to be riding next year on May 1st, you absolutely want to buy your product before May 1st, because come May 1st, it could all just be, well, you'd be going to your partners and seeing what your partners have. Our partners are the local dealers. That's where majority of the inventory is going to go, right? That's who. So I would work with them. I'd go to your dealers. I'd talk to them. I'd make arrangements, keep me posted, and better to have that board there ready to ride and just be staring at it, waiting for the lakes to unthaw, than waiting for the lakes to unthaw and then going to get your toy, because
that is
toy
true.
shop might be empty.
Would it be safe for me to say to my audience, if you want to be in the water by May 1st, if you order by April 1st, you are guaranteed to get your ride with battery ready to go? April, May.
So right now, I'm not even thinking about April, May.
Okay.
I'm thinking about September, October, November.
Okay.
So if they want to get a board in September today, I'll get them a board in September today.
Not a lot of people in Minnesota probably interested in that, but they are definitely going to want. They're going to be there. I would say right now they're either looking for great deals on right now stuff that's like selling out, and they're looking for a deal, or they're already planning. They've been planning their next summer, and what they're probably waiting for is, and a lot of my audience says, I'm waiting to hear what you think of this board, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah. They will buy this thing when they are convinced it's going to be great. Most people are going to have to buy this thing. Keep in mind, sight unseen. It's not an easy thing. Like an eFoil in general, it's just not an easy thing to get your hands on before you buy it. I have bought all of mine sight unseen. Every single one. I'm trusting. Right?
I'll answer your question a little bit differently. If for the most part, yeah, if somebody buys in April to ride in May, I think they'll be okay. I'm quite certain they'll be okay. From a supply chain perspective and product delivery standpoint, I am not concerned about next year to do what I set out to do. I feel like we've placed that structure now to make us a lot more successful on that front in next year. I have a high degree of confidence in what we're doing into next year. What the demand from the market will be is a different question. And whether that product available sells out is a different question. I don't know. I don't know how much, I don't know how much it'll get eaten up from people. And it's not an unlimited amount of inventory. That's what it comes down to.
Is there a way that you guys could publish that so that when people order, they're very aware of when they'll get it so that they're not surprised?
I think that they should go to their dealers, right? That if you got a dealer in the area that's pushing the product, say, hey, I want to buy that board, and on April 15th, I'm coming into your shop, so you better have it ready for me. Okay. And then that shop owner is going to come back to us and say, hey, I got 20 of these boards.
Yeah, okay.
I need so many boards in April. Go build me those. And me 6 months in advance are going to go down. I'm going to build all that stuff and put it together and make sure that dealer has it in that time frame.
It is much more useful for you to know how many to make than to try to assume that. It's very challenging.
That's what we have to kind of do is it takes a long time to build the product and put it together, right? It's not something that you just whip out overnight. You have to plan this out. So, as the dealers and the market gives us the feedback, that's what we're going to go out and build and make sure that we have it available. But I think generally speaking, I think they'd be pretty safe in April to get it in May. But if you really, really want to be ahead of the game, buy it now. Ride September, October. Enjoy the fall lighting, which is the best anyway. And I lived in Wisconsin for a couple of years. September, October is the best. Sorry, it's
it is really nice. And some years it's great. Beautiful. This year it's going to happen. We're going to get solar vortex early. And my rule is I like to surf barefoot or mostly barefoot. And when I can't feel my feet, I can't enjoy the ride. And if I can't feel the board by wearing big boots, then I can't enjoy the ride. Like a lot of the way I ride is feeling what's happening under the water. And I'm a wakeboarder, man. Like that comes with it. You got to feel it. And, but I've been loving it, man. Okay. Lift 5. Let's talk boards, man. Lift 5 Pro. It is the best board I've ever ridden. It is super fast. It accelerates faster than anything I've ever been on. I thought that the Lift 4 Pro was adequately powered. Yeah. And I think the Lift 5 Pro is probably overpowered, but in a way that's kind of like I could stall the Lift 4 Pro if I really dug into something, right? This board will not stall. If you were to gun it, even in a super hard bank, and you were to overdo it, that thing will fling you into the air like you are weightless. And I have a couple of videos that I love showing people where I'm like, yeah, I calculated this one like I was riding my old board. And it just goes, and I'm like 5 feet in the air. I'm like, okay, wow, I could maybe turn down the virtual gear just a little bit, It's so fast. And I am debating with Justin Chait at night, dude, if you got on this board, You'll beat your times on the Ultra L2. He's like, no way, man. I've ridden it with the 90 and the 60 HA, and I'm telling you, it's fast. It accelerates faster, but it doesn't bank as well. I'm like, get on a Surf 100 V2, man. Like, you're on the wrong wing. You get on the Surf 100 Surf V2, and I'm telling you, and I'm riding these boards back to back, right? The Ultra L2 and the Lift 5 Pro. No, that board is so fast, and I can handle banking speeds so fast. I broke my knee brace on the G-forces on that thing, right? Like seriously, it's an amazing ride, and it rides like a missile, and you don't have to dance back and forth because it like self levels itself. It's so good. It is so good. I'm gonna gush, but yeah.
I'm glad you like it. There's a lot of things that went into that product that we haven't even really advertised, that we haven't really, because there's so much intricacy into like the grades of carbon that we went into, and the structural part of like where the mass connects to the board, and like the different outline on the board, and you're a lot of the things that you're alluding to is not even so much the power, but the reduction in drag with the integrated motor into the mast, and like how that affects the flow below, and like all that stuff just kind of adds up to translate into the ride that you're like, yeah, this thing feels great. So there's a lot of beautiful things that we put into that. I think it's a really well balanced piece of equipment. And the cool part about it too is like it's so plug and play, even with the different parts in the lineup. We haven't talked about the X, but like we sent you that too because
we're talking about that. We'll talk.
You can also, if you're like, okay, I want to bank even harder. I want to be lighter and maybe not have the same kind of top speed. And you can take that same mast wing setup and just go and put it onto the X board, right? And you're going to have a very similar, it's the same power output as the 5, but now what's a much smaller battery, narrower board. So like things are really cranking over,
Yes. Okay. Look, I'm going to, I don't need to talk more with you about the Lift 5 Pro because like I've got a giant video showing what it can do and showing its race times against other boards, and like the way that it rides is just so sweet. It is so it took what the 4 did and then it bounced it further. And like, yes, your board shape is amazing. Like when I'm banking, I almost never hit it rail. But when I do, the only thing that happens is it bounces it back up into place. It doesn't auto steer back to flat, which is, for me, if I've been eFoiling a lot, especially racing, when I wake up at night going, like it's because I'm dreaming about it auto steer, like I'm banking and I'm full tilt, and then it hits flat and it wants to, and that thing just flings you into outer space. Like this board doesn't do that. You can hit the edge with confidence and it'll be fine. It doesn't matter. It's one of those things where you can't go back to your old board after you ride it. No, you just can't.
No, when it gets better, it's just like, I don't want to go back and ride the other. I mean, I still love all of our older rides are great, and there's a lot of stuff that we, carried forward. But the 5, it is. And even like our own staff and people that were working on the project and just, were like just surrounded by the project, they got on it and they were like, oh my God, this is a completely different ride. I'm like, yeah, I know. What do you think we've been working on? I've been telling you this for like 2 years. And they're like, oh no, but I just didn't really believe how different could it really be. And then
I didn't believe how different it could be.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote you. That's why I made that open letter. So I was like, dude, on paper, but that it was really me forced when I went back to my 3 and then back to the 4. Then I was like, I didn't think this one was all that different. I only bought that next board because on weekends my friends come and then I'm on the dock sad because I'm not riding. That's the only reason I bought the 4 is I was short boards, and then my friends like, how many boards are you going to buy? When I'm not sad anymore, I'll stop buying boards. But frankly, it feels really weird to say to friends, you can't ride right now because I want to, even though I get to ride all week long. Thanks for coming out. So I just like always give up my rides to other people. Right. Well, that 5 did what the 4 did. It advanced it even further. Yeah. If you want to go fast, you want to bank hard, get that board. My weird advice to people is like, if you're going to buy, and you want to ride hard and fast, just get the Pro I don't care. It's going to be a little bit harder when you're learning. But if you're going to own this thing and you're into carving, dude, you are going to have no buyer's regret. A month from after, you will get good.
Yeah.
And the only reason, in my opinion, to own a larger board is if you're buying a family board, like that everyone's going to go on, and you want it to be super easy for or you're heavier than 200 pounds, or, like those are reasons to own bigger boards. But like, dude, I expect to continually buy the smallest, lightest board you make for forever and ever. And speaking of smaller and lighter, let's talk about that Lift X, because that I didn't even ask you for. I was like, that's not for me. And it's because you advertise it that way. That thing is just a smaller, lighter, awesome ride. It is super cool. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, the X is so it's the same architecture on the platforms, right? And a lot of similar components, which is awesome. It makes interchangeability. These things are Lego machines. You can plug and play. There's interchangeability between the parts, but the X is just that it's a more performance. It's a smaller board and narrower size, lower volume. So even if you're looking at like a 4.8, it's not the same as a 4.9 Sport on the Lift 5. 4.8 is pretty small, sporty board. It's just less volume. Smaller battery equals lighter weight. So the whole experience of carrying it, putting it in the water, riding it in the water, it's completely different. You get the reduced ride time, right? And it's generally you want to ride it in lower power applications because you'll get more length out of the battery, versus if you run it really hard, you can, but it's going to be a shorter ride, right? For that, you should be on the 5 if you're on a lake and I want to go 7 miles, full blast. I want to be on the 5. That's what it's, But on the X, it's very versatile. I can ride it as an eFoil. On flat water, I love it. It's great. And I can ride it as an eFoil, and my wife likes it because she can carry it, and it's sized more appropriately to her size. And then in the ocean and the waves and catching wakes, it's amazing. I hate to admit it, but most of my surfing recently has just been moto surfing. I've been out on that thing and catching waves and catching bumps, and like, I got 2 kids and a business, and it's like, man, I got 45 minutes to go jump in the water. I'm going to take that X. I'm going to go catch 30 waves quick, and I'm going to come in with a smile on my face, back to it. So it's a pretty cool, it's a neat tool to have in the quiver. I use it a lot. And the other thing that I really like about it too is I use all of my wings on that product. It's like a wing testing platform. Amazing. Just amazing. I can test so much stuff, and I just naturally, like, I will go out for half a session. I'll come in, I'll make a quick change, and then back out there to ride some more, just to get like the dual like experiences of the different wings and different parts. So it's really neat that way as a platform that allows you to like combine the different toys and just turn them into different rides for all applications.
So right now my audience is using me largely as their testing platform. So they're sending me ideas like, oh, you've got both these boards. I want you to try switching mass. Mm-hmm. One person said, I want to know what it's like to ride that X with the 100 surf on there. And so, you sent me the 4.8, and I put the 100 surf 32 glide, my race setup on there, and I switched the prop to the fixed, right? Because I'm like, this is going to need more torque, I think. I wasn't able to get up, and I spun the prop off of it. It's somewhere 20 feet at the bottom of my lake. That
you bring up an issue that popped up. It was really kind of an oversight of that bigger prop is not meant to go on that smaller motor.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, it's not set up for that. So that is one interchangeability that like, we need to make clear to our audience to be like, hey, that prop doesn't belong on that motor.
It was after that people would send me suggestions. I'm like, I'm gonna ask Nick first, because like, dude, I can't like wreck these boards, right? And you know what? I did that, and I was like, I just immediately went to your website and I ordered a new LCS prop. I'm like, that was $140 lesson that I learned. I'll teach my audience; they won't make that same mistake. I could not, with that fixed prop, I wasn't able to get it. I really actually liked riding it with the fixed prop with the Havoc wing on there. It was great. I'm like, oh, it's a little bit higher torquing. Neat. Then I put the 100 on. I couldn't get up. And I don't think I would have been able to with the folder either. I don't think it was just pushing water, right? Just
Yeah.
too small of a wing. So I can report I wasn't able to do it. I wanted to put my daughter on there to see if she could. She's half my weight. So
I would keep the folding propeller on there, which is kind of the prop that's built for the smaller motor. You can do it. I mean, it depends. Some of the boards are pretty small. As that the equipment gets smaller, there is a technique involved to doing that. Like I'm 175 pounds and I can ride the 4.3 and I've gotten up on a 74 Havoc, so, and I ride the 92 quite a bit. And then my go-to is like 100, the 120 and whatnot on the 4.3. So I've got kind of a technique to get up that I need to make a video of. I call it my rodeo start. But it's certainly, as that gear gets smaller, there is some practice involved to kind of get that technique to get it up. It makes it a little harder. But generally speaking, yeah, if you're getting down into like the hundreds, if I was on a lake and I was going to ride that 100, to really carve around, I would put the big motor on it. Hands down.
I did that.
No
it was great. Let's talk about that. I did swap the mast. I put my Lift 5 Pro mast on the X last night.
Yeah.
And I put, here's the wings. I did the Havoc with the 26 Flow.
Yep.
I think, yep. And then I did my Camber Pro. Well, no, first I did the 100. I'm like, we might as well just go all the way to 100. It basically turns that board into the Ultra L2, except one difference. Your wings are significantly better than flight wings. So you kind of get the weight profile of an Ultra L2 mixed with except it's got your wings. And that, like, honestly, that's my only beef with flight is like, well, actually it's my beef with every board. I'm like, I'm sorry, it doesn't have Lift's wings. Lift's wings are what makes Lift, like, that is what they do better than everyone else. Like, it just is. It's smoothest. I don't shim things. I'm like, I tell people I don't shim. Like, well, dude, no, Nick wouldn't do that. He makes a wing. It always flies level. If you use a combo that Nick designed, it flies the way it was meant to fly every single time. You're really good at that. That's your legacy right there. Like that's
the job I do from start to finish is all the wing designs.
It's so good. And I was like, I don't know. I was on my board, like, waxing philosophical with my mic on, which I do sometimes. The audience seems to like it. And I was like, dude, I don't even think that's a thing Nick learned. I think that's like a thing he was born into and just, he's just better at it than everyone else. I feel like it's one of those kinds of things. He's an engineer and everything, but like, there's engineers working at all these companies designing their wings. There's something different about these wings. They feel different.
Only a surfer knows the feeling is kind of the thing. And you, I mean, for me, I'm staring at the ocean, I'm looking at downwinding conditions, and I'm thinking about what wings I'm going to test and go out, and I'm sitting on the computer that I use with the wing drawn up in the background. So I do have the benefit of, like, it's right here, I'm drawing it, I'm in control, and I can go out and feel it and touch it and, like, mix them around. So, like, my whole goal is to get those balanced rides that are really dialed in. And I think it makes us special as well. There's a lot, there's a lot of great hydrofoils and stuff out there in the market, and there's a lot of people pushing that forward. But yeah, just getting a really balanced rig and getting everything right, man, it's so critical. Just good rigging is so critical. I learned that when I was a teenager racing windsurfers. Rigging is important, so. Yeah.
I used to think that Flight had a better motor and mast design, putting their propulsion lower on the board than you. And then, you know what? I've ridden them both now a lot. I have a lot of experience on both boards. I've changed my opinion on that. I never really need to go that much higher than what I already get with your standard mast. I just don't feel the need to do it. Even in a race situation, I don't need it. But the way that yours pushes at that part, that mechanical advantage or cantilever place where it rides, it is way less likely to buck the board, and it is you don't have to dance on your boards as much. Like the Ultra L2, like, dude, you got to dance so much on that board, and you have to be so far forward that there's no one really that comfortable being that far forward on a board. Whereas yours, I ride it more like I would a thruster. I get into a crouch. Where I'm on the board feels like where I want to be on the board, and it can handle that speed. I can do most of what I need to do with my hips, and that's the way it should be. I get that Justin's like magic. Justin Chait is magic. He's playing tennis on that deck, right? But most people don't want to do that, and I think that if he didn't waste his time dancing around the board, if he rode your board with the right wing on there, he would be able to convert the dance time into speed, and I think he would beat his old times. That's my theory. I'd love to test out.
I just had the pleasure of meeting Justin a couple, I don't know, weeks or month ago in Atlanta. Really nice guy and an amazing foiler. No doubt. Awesome foiler. I mean, and he had his gear really dialed in. You know, he's got some custom modifications to get that thing balanced out. He understands rigging for sure. I wouldn't make the claim that he's going to do anything better or worse, because he's certainly a better foiler than me on that thing and going around the race course. He was a quite impressive rider, you know. But I would definitely rise up to the challenge and you know, tune something in for his needs too and what he likes. I think we actually have quite a bit of product in there that he hasn't ridden, that he would appreciate very much as a very skilled rider. So I think that's one of the things too that, like, you know, I try to build into our product and that I pride ourselves on is like, hey, I want to build a ride that is loved by the person that's just getting into the sport and the person that is a professional in the sport, that they are riding the same rig and maybe a couple of small like interchanges of equipment and parts and pieces. They love that same rig. Like they share that commonality. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That to me is success, is like having something that's well-rounded in that sense. And I think our gear does that well.
It does. Yeah. It does. Justin's favorite ride, by the way, for surfing, do you know what it is?
I have no idea.
Lift X.
Oh yeah, I heard he got out on it the other day and had a good time.
I was shocked when he said that. He's like, "Look, man, the Lift X is an amazing ride. It's actually my favorite thing to ride and surf now." But like, as far as racing, you know, we were debating about racing, but he was, you know, that was his. He always does a little bit of a give, and then he makes a statement. And like, to be fair, 90% of the times when he and I have disagreed about something, he's ended up being right. He's a great
rider, and I learned a bunch from him too, talking to him. And I will say this: we're gonna bring. I don't think that he's been challenged in that. You know, we haven't even stepped on the race course. This is the first time that we even went to like look and see what a race course looks like. We have not. People are like, "Hey, will you build me a race board?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm not racing right now. I've done a ton of racing in the past. I'm not racing. I'm like, okay, let's check out the race. And so we'll bring Justin some challenge on the course, and so he doesn't feel like he's out there by himself. As soon as I clear a couple of these things off my plate, I got a couple things here in the background for him.
Right on. Like, look, I didn't expect to get into eFoiling and then go back to competition. It's just that I realized eFoiling needs that so that we can actually test board against board, and we have a purpose. Like, I put a kid who's a flight right. He's down on my beach right now. I'm supposed to be giving him lessons like Mr. Miyagi here, but he's on a flight ultra, and I'm like, dude, he's 23, he's young, and he's good. Like, I've only met 3 riders so far that I would consider really good, and he is, and so I'm teaching him how to race, and I'm putting him on both the Lift 4 Pro. R5 Pro, and he's riding his board. He's trying to tweak his board to make it ride like that. But I'm going to, like, every time I get invited to Dubai to race, I'm like, dude, you don't want me. I'm a 50-year-old guy with a gimpy knee. You want this 23-year-old kid once I get him race course ready. That's what you want. I
think the course racing has legs. I think I really enjoyed it. It's really pretty to watch. It's very graceful, and it was fun. And I actually have this one kind of memory that I captured there. We did this long distance. It was really this random. They didn't know kind of what they were putting together, and they did this long distance race around an island where we all took off at the same time. So like you had that old like course feeling of like I got guys next to me, and kind of that Formula One feeling. And we came around the island. My buddy Colin was out in front of Justin because he had the speed advantage of like 34 miles an hour. And so he, like, as we come narrowing in for this turn, Colin's out in front of him, coming, he's going like 34. Justin's right, like behind him, and I'm right behind Justin, and all the wakes are kind of coming in, and you're banking around this island at full speed, and you're like, don't hit the slipstream, don't run this guy over, don't get run over by the guy behind you. And it was exciting. And I was like, man, this is cool. This has
motocross. That is like motocross adrenaline. Yep, definitely.
It was fun.
The most exciting, we don't race in each other's course. We don't do anything that anybody can get hit. But best course I ever built was you start at the exact same place. He goes this way, you go this way.
They did
you
that
both
too.
have about identical courses, but what's most important is you actually trade courses. So I will race mine, and I will not know how well he's doing until I get to the end of mine and I start heading back. Then I get to see, oh, I'm way ahead of him, or oh shit, he's already at the beginning of mine, and then we hit each other's course, and it's super fair because we race each other's course.
You know what? We did it, and it is an interesting concept. But the course, in my opinion, needs to be redesigned because there is a start advantage depending on where you start in that course. Because one of them, the start basically with the left turn right out the buoy was much better because you're gaining. If you're starting from a lay down start, you're gaining momentum as you come out, and it's easier to turn off that start and gain momentum in there. Where when you come around on the straight to cross from one to the other, you're full blast from the back buoy. And so if you have the disadvantage of starting in the middle, you don't have the advantage of that full blast across the buoy, but you have the advantage of like the takeoff here. So Justin he knows the advantage. He's hugging that start every time. Everybody's fighting for that start. So I do think I like the reverse mirror course, but you have to get rid of the nuance of the advantage on the start because it's like a serve advantage on tennis.
Yeah, we start our courses. We let people pre-run so like they can catch their speed. They can go real slow in this area before they start, and then when they go through the start line, that's when it kicks off. Now, here's why we did that. We were checking out what the attention rate of anybody watching us race was, and they were way more likely to continue to watch if we started on go. Okay, so watching someone getting up on a foil, not as exciting as watching them and we also can handle the races faster. People waiting, they're like going in circles, and then they're like just next one, and then like go, and then we just keep rolling those, and because we only have like a few hours at this time of the year to like get our racing done, so like lights going down earlier, and so we just found we can handle 20 people in a course way faster if we just let them start rolling. You should consider it because it's way better to watch. Yeah,
I mean, and I'm not governing the racing, but I would make the same suggestion. And even like in sailing, you do a timed start, and it's very important to be across that line. Right. And so like I'd almost do a start that way where it's a countdown and you can come full blast over the start line if you time it right. And in that case, I think maybe that would take away, or get rid of that disadvantage from the lay down start where you are positioned on the course. But that's a whole nother podcast that we can kind of get into.
It is. I mean, the rules are not written. Like this is brand new.
It's brand new.
Weird to be in a brand new sport,
Yeah, it's the fun part for sure. That's why I think it's got a lot of legs and a lot of potential. And it's, the other thing I would say too, you want to make it fun for everybody. Like, we went up to do that race and I raced barely anything because I fell on my first lap or whatever. And it's like, okay, you came all the way up here, you raced for a minute. In a sailing races, you're going to a regatta and you're going to ride, it doesn't matter if I'm coming in the back or I'm coming in the front. I'm going to ride all week with my buddies and I'm going to like enjoy the riding. That is such a critical part to these events, and not make it so like I was faster than you. It's like, no, we want to go run the course and do like, we want to foil for a given amount of time, so we feel like we had a full day at the end of the day. So I would add that in there too, just for like more people to come in and enjoy it.
It is super fun. Like it is super fun to hang. It's always been fun to hang out with my surf friends, my wakeboard friends, my ski friends, my snowboard friends. They're like the most fun people I know on the planet. Like these are the people that like with a rope and a couple of carabiners, we can have the best time on a piece of granite, right? Like it doesn't matter what we're doing necessarily. It's like this attitude of like, let's do a thing, and that that's what makes it super fun. Just it happens to be that like eFoiling is the lowest pain in the butt thing I've ever done that produces this much fun. It is so low pain in the butt. I'm not untangling my kite lines. It works in almost every single weather. I pretty much go in everything except for hail and like really bad lightning. That my least favorite is uber glass, right? Which is weird because that's my wife heard me complain about not having glass was a wakeboarder. And now she complains I complain when it's glassy out because I can't see how far I am off the water,
It's crazy, huh? That's crazy.
It is. Well, I'm going to let you go. I know you got family stuff going on today, and I got to train this kid out to be an excellent racer. It was super fun talking to you, and I think we covered most everything, but I'm going to keep writing you emails as I finish my testing. Any messaging for my audience that you want to leave them with? I mean, most of these people are your they're your customers, or they're people who have been looking for a while and are ready to become your customers.
Yeah, I would say, man, the Lift 5 and the Lift X product is solid. It is the culmination of work that started in 2015 and reinvented in the right way with hindsight, to design and original things that I feel like could have been done better. It's now in the Lift 5 and the Lift X. Completely different platform and product and supply chain than anything in the past. So I'd be excited for people to get out there and try that. We as a company are not going anywhere, and we're here to serve our customers, and we're going to continue to serve our customers. And most importantly, we're going to continue to serve them with innovative product that they enjoy out on the water. That's our purpose of being here. And we're going to keep doing that because we love it as well. And, any kind of issues and stuff that we've had, mea culpa, Mulligan, let me work on that. Let me recover that. And let's, we're going to fix that to make it great and make it better. So I definitely hear a lot of frustration this summer from our customers, and it doesn't land on deaf ears. It means a lot to me, and I will make everything great and continue to aspire for greatness for the company and for the product.
And then one last question, a bit of a selfish one. If my son and I were to come visit you in Puerto Rico, would you show us how to ride that Lift X on some actual, like not lake surf, but surf?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of practice. I think you guys will get it pretty quick. Really set you up, show you the ropes, where the spots are, and you guys get out there and do some laps. But I'd love to go riding with you guys for sure.
Awesome. Well, my son is a very good surfer, like wake surfer and that kind of, and that was like his favorite sport. And I don't know if he's ever forgiven me for selling our boat, but I've never been able to get him to get into that eFoiling. He's like, it's just not my thing, Dad. I like to surf. And I'm like, dude, this new board, I'm telling you, this new board is like everything you loved about surfing, but like way more efficient, and you won't have to paddle. Like, it's so awesome. And he's a engineer, works at GM, right? He designs all their interfaces and everything, and sets up virtual, like, pre-visualization of their cars. So, he's 24 and amazing, right? But I'm like, dude, I gotta. This will be your thing. And I'm like, I bet you Nick could show him, right? I'm like, Nick could show him how awesome this is, because I've failed as a father, honestly. Here.
Well, there's you got to come at it from different approaches, right, with your kids. Yeah. But I mean, getting in the ocean and catching a swell, it's hard to be like, come out of the water and be like, well, that sucked, Yeah, right.
No one.
You're
way.
Gonna love it. So anybody that goes out and catches a swell on a hydrofoil, their mind's gonna get blown. That's not, there's no going back. So
I would very much appreciate if you could make my son love eFoiling, because that's like another thing we could do together that I seriously, I failed at. I'm like, how can you not love this? It's so amazing. We ski together, we snowboard together, we've surfed, I taught him how to water ski. Like, dude, what happened? Where did I go wrong? How could this have occurred that this isn't a thing he thinks is cool?
Yeah. Well, we'll do our best.
All right. All right, man. Thanks a lot. You have a great day. I'll be talking to you probably a little bit more before I'm done with everything I'm doing. But nice work, Nick. Love the rides. Love them.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.